Hey, I hope that you guys are feeling amazing today. All right, so if you are someone that wants to get married and you want to use your natal chart to see what type of spouse you'll have, what type of marriage you'll have, here is a little cheat hack that you can use to see this. Now, if you're already married, you can use this as well. All right, now if you're somebody that's divorced like me, you can also look at things in hindsight to see what type of spouse or what type of marriage you had. Okay, so it's very simple. You're going to look at the seventh house. You're going to look at the Lord of the seventh house, and you're going to look at the seventh house cusp. Of course, I'm going to give y'all an example and break it down. Now, of course, there are other indicators that you have to look at in your natal chart to see what type of spouse you'll have, what type of marriage you'll have, even if you are not set up for marriage. Because some people are not set up for marriage. I don't know how many consultations I've done, and I have had to tell people, maybe, just maybe, this is not the lifetime for you to have a husband or a wife or a marriage. And that is okay, because believe it or not, some people are meant to be alone in this lifetime, and that is okay. That is what your soul incarnated here to learn the lesson of being alone. But anyway, that's another video for another day. Now, if you know you want to be married, you are set up for marriage, okay? This is what you're going to do. You're going to look at the seventh house ruler. So that's the sign that the house is in. And then you're going to look at the seventh house cusp. Now, let me also preface this video by saying that it's extremely important that you know your time of birth, because your time of birth is going to determine your seventh house cusp and the degree that your seventh house cusp is in. Okay, so that's the two things you're going to look at. You're going to look at the sign that it's in, and then you're going to look at the degree of the seventh house cusp. Example, let's just say Taurus. Let's just say your seventh house is in Taurus, and that seventh house cusp is at the first degree. This can produce a spouse that you guys may argue and fight a lot over money. Simple. Let's just also, it can produce somebody that you might have to always cook for. This might be somebody you always have to put first, or they may have a career where they have to always put themselves first. They may have a career where they make money off of their body. They can be like an athlete or something like that, or they may have a career where they have to put their life on the line, like a first responder, firefighter, police officer, or something along those lines. Let's just say your second house cusp is at the second degree. This can produce a spouse that can make money with their voice. This can produce a spouse that can make money off of luxury items, luxury products, beauty products. This can produce a spouse that can make money like as a chef or something like that. If it's and they also can be extremely close to the mother, or they can like have very feminine ways. And this could be somebody that just could be an introvert also. Let's just say your seventh house cusp is at the third degree. This can produce somebody that can be extremely close to their siblings. They can make money with their siblings. They might be into like cooking shows. They might like to watch a lot of cooking shows. They might like to read cooking books. They might talk about cooking. They might have like a podcast or something like that talking about cooking or something along those lines, or they can just be a chef themselves. Let's just say that it's at the 10th degree. Your seventh house cusp is at the 10th degree. This can produce a spouse that can make a lot of money, but they're very cheap and they're very tight with money. Let's just say that it's at the 5th degree. I think that if you have your seventh house cusp at the 5th degree, that's a very, very great degree. It's a very romantic degree, and this means that you'll have a spouse that will always prioritize romance. Ooh, lucky you. But let's see if I can use another example. Let's just use the 8th house. Not the 8th house, I'm sorry. Not the 8th house, my bad. Let's just use the 8th degree. I'm thinking about the 8th house because I'm connecting the energy of the 8 to the 8th house. Any which ways, let's just say your 7th house cusp is at the 8th degree. This can produce a spouse that might always borrow money from other people, or they're really good at getting other people's money, or they might always get money through your family also. But that is just a few examples of how you can tell the type of spouse you'll have just by looking at that aspect right there. And we're not even talking about your Venus, your Mars, your Moon, etc., etc., etc. We're just talking about that aspect by itself. Now also, let me say this: if you're dating, if you're in a relationship, whether you're in a relationship, a long-term relationship, engaged, you're living with this person, you got kids with this person, common law, this does not I'm not going to say it doesn't apply. Your 7th house don't become activated until you sign that contract. Okay, I should have started off with saying that. Let me repeat that. Your 7th house does not become activated until you legally sign that document saying that you are husband and wife. Okay, so if you're in a relationship with somebody, long-term relationship, fiance, situationship, common law, whatever, this house and this technique will not be activated until it is a legally binding contract. Because remember, the 7th house is the house of contracts. All right, I hope this helps. All right, you guys, later.